Today's tutorial is how to create your own personalised design on Canva and then embroider it onto a t-shirt. If you don't know, my channel is all about making crafting easy and breaking down projects for you to make yourself, so don't forget to like and subscribe for more. For this design, I've chosen to make the Queen of Hearts with a crown, which I think is really cute. The t-shirt I bought in a 2-pack off of ASOS. I take inspiration from Pinterest before mainly creating designs online using Canva. For this one, I created a load of cues and then went through the fonts until I found a script font with a cue that I liked. I then did the same with their stock photos of hearts and crowns and played about with the sizing of the ones I liked until I was happy with the final design. You can also copy images into Canva and use them in exactly the same way, but I was happy with the ones that they offered. I also use Canva to create my logo and my YouTube video thumbnails, as they have preset design sizes as well. I started by printing out my design and then I put it on the t-shirt, holding it up to my chest until I settled on the location I wanted it to be and marked it out with a pencil. For this design I needed 4 colours, 2 yellowy golds for the crown, black for the cue and red for the heart. Put the t-shirt into the embroidery hoop and make sure to stretch it quite tight. T-shirt material typically is quite stretchy, and you will find as you stitch the material it will move quite a lot. Put the design behind the material and hold it up to some light before tracing the design onto the front of the material. As it's a white t-shirt, it's easy to see through. I created the heart using a simple vertical satin stitch with 3 threads of cotton. I would recommend starting by creating a knot rather than just threading the loose ends, as this design needs to be a little bit more robust and go through the washing machine. Starting at one end of the heart, bring the needle up at the top just outside the pencil line, and then bring the needle back in the fabric directly below to create a straight line to the outside of the bottom pencil line. For the second stitch, bring the needle back out at the top and go in at the bottom again. As the t-shirt is stretchy, if you attempt to go top, bottom, bottom, top, you will then pull the fabric. You will almost create a second heart on the back of the design by doing this, but it will sit nicer on the fabric. Space out the stitches to get the alignment correct for the heart and then go back in and fill them in. I find this is easier to create a more perfect vertical stitching design, or it will end up slightly wonky. To move across the design, if you need to, thread the needle through the strands at the back. You want to make sure your thread sits just outside the pencil line each time to make sure it's fully covered. Continue to fill out the heart design until it's finished, and then remember to knot the thread when you're done. To create the cue, I did a simple back stitch using 2 strands of cotton, as I wanted it to be a little thinner than the heart and crown. Start at the bottom end of the design and bring the needle up through the fabric and back in a short distance on. Then, almost as if you're skipping a stitch, bring the needle up back through the fabric and back down at the end of the first stitch you did to create your second stitch. Then repeat this by bringing the needle up through the fabric and back down at the end of the second stitch. As this is a curved design, the shorter your stitches are, the more of a proper curve you will have on the round edges. Repeat this until you get to the end of your queue. For the crown design, I used 3 strands, the same as the heart, and repeated the satin stitch. I started at the bottom and ran the stitches horizontally, skipping out the triangle I had drawn in for the highlight. For the tops of the crown, I used a French knot. You do this by bringing up the needle through the fabric and wrapping the thread around the needle a few times before poking the needle back through at the same place it came out. As you poke the needle back through, pull the thread tight to ensure a tight knot. I placed a second stitch through the knot as they were quite large and I wanted to secure it in place. The more times you wrap the thread round the needle, the larger the knot. Again, as you move around the design, make sure to thread through an existing thread at the back to get to where you want, rather than jumping about, as you're likely to be able to see any movements from the front through the white t-shirt. I then picked out a slightly lighter thread colour to fill out the triangle and finished this with a satin stitch as well. And there you have it, a Queen of Hearts t-shirt design made from start to finish. You can use this method for any design you want, but I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for my next videos.